I said, I
Yeah.
got to find some goddamn answers. So I actually Googled, why did she lose interest? And I think one of Corey Wayne's videos popped up. I'm not mistaken.
Nice. And I was just like sweating bullets. I was nervous as this dance, right? I never danced before. So I just Googled how to do club dancing or
Right.
and the Manosphere pulled up. Ross Jeffries, pickup artistry, and it changed my life, man. Just like finding Corey Wayne.
How did I get into this Manosphere stuff? I didn't even know what it was a couple years, if I'm being honest. You know, I made some bad choices in life, went through the divorce machine, saw some crazy stuff happen, you know, with my business that was just brutal, and then got into a bad relationship with a single mommy for like 3 years or so. And that's basically what all red pilled me.
Hey, Expose the Manosphere here. Many of you know who I am, but I have critics who cannot come to a consensus on whether I'm a quote, bitter black woman or YouTuber Ken123. It amazes me that these guys cannot even take the time to read the About page where I linked an article I wrote in March that has my full legal name attached to it.
None of this should surprise me. Here's a list of the rumors that have been shared about me.
Anyways, my name is Aaron Fountain. I'm a 29-year-old PhD candidate in history at Indiana University, but I am currently making a career transition out of academia and into higher education administration. On the side, I have written for various publications about topics that interest me, and in May I created a YouTube channel. And for obvious reasons, this is my second and main one. So, you're probably wondering, how in the world did I come across this online community known as the Manosphere? Well, unlike the clips you heard in the beginning, it happened completely inadvertently. It all started 1 month before incels became mainstream. I had taken a semester off from graduate school in 2018 after achieving candidacy to gain work experience in another area of employment since I was exploring non-academic jobs. That took me to Lincoln, Nebraska, a city I told myself I would never return to, but that's a whole nother story. I was on one of my usual weekend getaways to nearby cities I've never visited before. Given that I was in Lincoln, my options were extremely limited. While sitting in a restaurant in Des Moines, Iowa, the past time, I watched the recommended documentary titled Trumpland, Kill All Normies. This is when I first heard of the term incel, PUAs, and the Manosphere. The video showed an infamous clip of former pickup artist Bruce V, where he argued that women shouldn't be educated beyond the 8th grade.
I don't think women need to be educated above reading and writing. She only needs enough education to have children, and that's it.
To be honest with you, it grossed me out, and I had no interest exploring these online communities in further detail. Coincidentally, a month later, the Toronto van attack occurred and media coverage propelled incels into the mainstream. Oddly, much of this coverage focused only on white males. It made absolutely no sense to me. Elliot Rodger, after all, was Eurasian, and race was a significant component of his frustration. From there, I gradually sought to write a piece about black incels. Over the course of that time, in June I came across a video where a YouTuber named O'Shea Duke Jackson interviewed a black incel, twice, matter of fact. I then started to watch more of his videos and found them initially entertaining and harmless. He just came across as a random dude who talked about black issues in a non-politically correct fashion, and that is when I was first introduced to the Black Manosphere. I caught a glimpse of the Brother Pill podcast that often feature LAR Movement and Donovan Sharp as reoccurring guests. LAR was often somewhat moderate in his perspective, but the low sound quality made him come off as quite dull as a YouTube personality. Sharp was more energetic, on the other hand. He would often make statements that made me do a double take, such as single mothers raise their kids to become gay or sexually deviant. But at first, I dismissed it. I disagreed with much of the subject material, but tuned in during my downtime after work because the heated arguments with callers was quite entertaining. Gradually, I fell into the rabbit hole. Through O'Shea's channel, I got introduced to dating coaches and other Manosphere personalities. Most of them were pretty moderate or had mainstream views. It was actually through Donovan Sharp's own YouTube channel that I noticed glaring problems. For one, he was overtly sexist. Second, the hypocrisy was difficult to wrap my head around. I'll return to the toxic content creators and talking points in a later video because I don't want this to be too long, but I want to wrap up with this. Much of the red pill to me, is literally just common sense. It is common sense and conventional wisdom that is spewed as a startling revelation.
Stop typing. Stop it. Stop.
So she dissed me. She didn't even care that my dad picked her up in a convertible.
Who knows how girls think anyway? That's the only thing I do know.
You know how chicks think?
They think you shouldn't call them chicks for one thing.
Don't you see? The great challenge of our young male lives is to figure out the female mind.
None of us is man enough to know how chicks, young women think. They think like us. Only you gotta read between the lines a little. Example. If a girl won't look at you, she obviously likes you. Either that or she doesn't know you exist. So a guy's guilelessness can actually make him more of a guy in a girl's eyes. They're tricky like that. Much like wild animals, they are as afraid of you as you are of them. Milo Kamalani, you're the man.
The idea of the black manosphere is stronger than how it operates in practice. Ideally, the concept of ordinary black men coming together to talk about issues that affect them is a powerful sentiment. But in reality, the space is rife with personality cults. Men misuse statistics, spew pseudo-historical narratives, misuse academic scholarship to promote their worldview, promote sex tourism and misinterpret it as a cultural norm, exacerbate celebrity gossip, and make huge generalizations about black women.
They love snoring coke and pulling that needle in their arms. Yeah, that's right. Black women still coke heads and heroin addicts.
Content creators or moderators ban followers from channels just for disagreeing with them. They railed against a critic in a live chat and completely derailed the topic at hand. Nearly all hid their identities by using avatars and or pseudonyms. If this material was for black male empowerment, why would so many of them refuse to stand by their names? They put themselves out there. I soon realized that while some might have initially entered a space to uplift black men, it gradually became a code of personality, where men competed with others to amass social capital and donations from a small group of followers. The reason why I call the black manosphere a rabbit hole, and not a hate group, unlike what many content creators have accused me of.
And in this article, he charged up the black manosphere with basically being a hate group. Basically being a group that is angry towards black women and determined to be on some, I guess, Elliot Rodger type stuff.
It's because on the surface, depending where one enters, it appears harmless and just good nature banter. But the more one follows a group, they get introduced to various characters and websites. I gradually came across SlayingEvil.com and Free Speech Avenger, both of which I consider to be the most hateful content in the space. Now, the black manosphere isn't 100% toxic, but even the non-controversial topics such as physical fitness, investment, entrepreneurship, etc. is rudimentary at best and is information you can receive from a YouTuber who specializes in that area. Overall, I find the space to be counterproductive, cult-like, too toxic, embroiled in gossip, and is habitually redundant. If you were to listen to several videos from 4 years ago, it's the same recycled material.